this time the indie pro wrestler. She also appeared on TNA's One Night Only Knockouts event. And for the love of God, I hope I get her last name spelled correctly. So here goes. Deonna Purrazzo is joining
How are
me.
you?
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing. Can you hear me? Because I'm at the gym, so I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I hear you just fine.
Okay, good.
So we have Deonna Purrazzo. She is joining me right now, and for the love of God, did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Yeah.
All right. This interview is already off to a good start. Now that I pronounced your last name correctly, and thank you so much for being on the show this evening. I want to get into my thoughts about the Knockouts event that you was a part of. We'll get to that a little bit later in the interview. But first, what made you decide to pursue wrestling?
Um, I have a twin brother. So when we were younger, with all his friends, he used to watch, play video games, whatever, all that stuff. So it was something I was always around. It wasn't until I want to say that it was Chris Jericho and Stone Cold. Someone hit someone with a chair, and I was like, oh my god, like, why would you let someone do that to you, you know? And from that moment on, I was hooked. Um, my brother says I became obsessed, but I was just so fascinated by the women and everything they were doing. I wanted to know everything. So I told my mom when I was 9 that I wanted to become a professional wrestler. And she said once I was 18 and I could afford to pay for school and whatnot, that I could. So December of 2012, I found a school called B2W Pro Wrestling, and I signed up, and the rest is history, as they say.
That's important advice for your mom. Let me just point that out. Education. It don't matter what you want to pursue in life. You're not going to go very far if you don't get the education. So kudos to your mom on that. And it worked out because you are where you are today and the opportunities that have come your way. Um, do you remember your first wrestling match that you ever had? And if so, what company did you work for at the time and who did you go up against?
My first match was with B2W. So, along with the school, they run shows monthly in Wharton, New Jersey. So my first match was December 6th, 2013, against a woman named Deonna.
And how did you feel going into that match? And how did you feel after the match then ended?
Before the match, I was just like nervous. I had like a lot of nervous energy. I was just ready to go out there and like get it over with. Um, and then afterwards, I mean, just that like high of getting in the ring and like, watching all your hard work come to life. It's just like exhilarating. So when I came back, um, Janice just gave me a hug and said like good job, and I kind of just go into like a mode of like I'm my own worst critic. So I was just like critiquing the little things that I noticed that's wrong and how I could be better for next time. But overall, like it was a good start, I would say.
Well, all I know is that everybody's gonna remember their first time, and
Yeah.
it's something to learn from, it's something that you could be happy about. There's some things that you can improve on, and I feel like with wrestling in general, it's just one of those things that yeah, there's gonna be people that's gonna be willing to be patient and hope that you develop and all. And there are gonna be some people in the industry that's gonna be like, you better get this right, or you're not gonna go far. Like you being a wrestler that's been around for a couple of years now, like how do you feel about the whole process and dealing with people having trust in you or having faith in you or lack thereof. And I mean, how do you deal with the scrutiny of being a wrestler? Because it's one of those things that, or sport in particular, you definitely have to be into it, not just physically, but mentally. How do you feel
Yeah.
going through the scrutiny and all?
Um, I try to look at it just like it's flavors of ice cream. Everyone is going to have a different opinion on what you do. There's different psychologies to it. Everyone has a different move set, and there's different ways you really move. So everyone's going to have their own critique, and some people might like some things that I do, other people might not. So I just try to have an open mind when people criticize my work as to, everyone's going to think something different. I can't take it to heart. And there's a lot of, politics, and if someone just doesn't like me, they're just not going to like my wrestling. And I can't take that personally because this business is very selfish. So I try to take it more as like, I just let it roll off my shoulder because I know my training and I trust in my training, and I trust that I can have a pretty good match with everyone. And there's just going to be some people who don't like it.
That's definitely great to hear. And, it's just a matter of trust. It's a matter of who you believe in and who believes in you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
People are not going to be, no matter how good you are or how much you develop, and this goes for every entertainer out there, whether it's musician or a comedian or a wrestler. You're not going to please everybody, but what's very important is that there are people out there that support you, that cares for you, that's rooting for you, regardless of your character that you portray in the ring, whether it's you a baby face or a heel. At the end of the day, it's all about who's there for you and who's going to support you, and whoever don't may not be familiar with your work or don't like you, well, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. It is what it is. I trust the people I train with, the people that I've met, the people that know what they're doing. Like, if Rip Rogers is telling me, I fly the wrong way in a cross body, like, that's a legitimate person that knows what they're talking about. And now I'm going to take that to heart, where some indie promoter that's never wrestled a day in his life just likes wrestling tells me, like, you should grip different in a headlock. All right, I'm going to say thank you, but am I going to take his advice to heart? No. You know what I mean? So it's about trusting yourself and having confidence in yourself and your ability to perform. And the more that I've been able to wrestle and the more matches I've done, my confidence has grown. So, I don't know, I just take it with a grain of salt depending on who the person is.
Absolutely. Totally agree. So I want to go further and talk about this appearance you had. It was for Impact Wrestling, one night only. I think the name of the event was Knockouts Knockdown.
Yeah.
And you, among some other notable indie talent, was there.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like, being a part of that event? Like, did you reach out to them? Did they reach out to you? Like, how did the whole process came about?
January of 2014, at the school, B2W, we did a seminar with Pat Kenny, who is a part of Teenage Creative. And Robbie E. also helped train at our school. So he had Pat come and do a big seminar with us. So in March, they needed to fill another position, and Rob was like, okay, do you remember Deonna? I'm sure she would love the opportunity. So Chrissy Honey called me, and we worked out, the details of it all. So I flew down Friday morning. I was there Friday and Saturday. The pay-per-view was taped on Saturday, and it was so out of nowhere, but it was an incredible experience just to learn from, and it was such a confidence boost to myself, too, because my trainers believed in me enough to give me this opportunity on a worldwide scale.
Well, I want to say congratulations on having the opportunity that you had. And people talk so much of how good the division is for Impact Wrestling, and that
Hmm.
how it has evolved, if you will, with the emergence of Havoc, formerly known as Jessica Havoc, and the
Hmm.
return of Amazing Kong to Impact, and it's nice to see that they've given some talent such as yourself the platform to perform. Uh, and I know you're just a few years into your career, but if they were to reach out to you and want to give you a contract of being a full-time performer, albeit that you've been doing the indies for a couple of years, would that something you would look into doing if if they were to reach out to you to become a full-time employee there?
Absolutely. I think that when the pay-per-view came around, I showed potential, but I don't think I had reached my full potential yet. And now I've been in the gym harder. I've been eating better. I've been training more. I've gotten more shows, more bookings, everything like that. So since the pay-per-view, I've really, tried to raise the bar for myself. So if the opportunity came to become a knockout, I would jump on that. That's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and for someone to say no to that, especially in my position, just working the indies, the goal is to be on TV. So absolutely.
Oh, I Impact Wrestling. You heard Deonna. She's. I'm just saying. Give her a call. Maybe the next year or two, once she develops even further, and I wouldn't mind seeing Deonna on my TV screen. I'm just gonna say that
well,
right now. Um,
well, thank you.
yeah, just for the record. Um, so who are some female wrestlers out there, whether it's indie or whether it's in the pros, that you haven't had a chance to go up against or work with, but would like to someday in the future?
As far as pros, like I grew up like admiring Trish Stratus and Lita and Victoria or Tara, however you know her. Um, that's what got me into wrestling. That's what made me want to become a professional wrestler. So if there was ever an opportunity to work with them, absolutely. Um, Sarah Del Rey is amazing. Serena Deeb is someone I absolutely admire too. Um, so that would be a match for sure to wrestle Serena Deeb. And then all the women on the Knockouts pay-per-view, they were all very gracious and very welcoming to me. At that point, I had only been wrestling for a little over a year, so everyone kind of was there for me to ask questions to and just very welcoming. So if I were to wrestle anyone like Medium or Havoc, um, it would just be like a lesson, and I would learn so much from them because I've been doing this for so long. So women on the pay-per-view, definitely. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else, but I'm not sure.
I can honestly say that I like the choices that you pointed out, and they say in the wrestling business, never say never. Um,
Yeah.
and I look at Trish Stratus and Lita and Victoria, and I know at least with Victoria, she's getting there with age, but she still looks like she's in good shape. She looks like she's ready to have one more match if she wanted to, especially Trish and Lita. I know Trish is a mom, and she wants
Mm-hmm.
to focus fully being a mom, but I would love to see some of these ladies get one more match in them. Like, I know they've legendary, they got nothing else to prove, but I guess I'm saying that from a fan standpoint. I would not mind, but to see them go at it one more time. Um, and as for the Indies look very promising. There's a lot of talented women out there in the Indies,
Yeah.
such as yourself, and they working hard, putting the work in, traveling across the country, and you know, pursue, pursue
Yeah,
their
I mean,
dreams. You know,
now that I'm thinking about it, um, I adore Mandy Leon. I've been, able to spend some time with her as Rosebud, and we did do a tryout together, but we didn't wrestle each other. So an opportunity to wrestle her would be awesome. I've heard a lot about Tessa, and I've never gotten a chance to meet her, but I would love to get in the ring with her. Those are just two that popped in my head now.
Tessa, as in Tessa Blanchard, is that you referring
Yeah,
to?
yeah,
I'm definitely familiar with that name, especially her last name. You know, she comes from a family of wrestlers, and she's starting to make a name for herself out there in the indie scene. She's trying to make footsteps of her own. She seems someone that has a promising future ahead of her. Um, so Deonna, if you don't mind, go ahead and promote your up and coming shows. Let people know where they can check out some of your matches coming up.
yeah. I'm at WS Saturday of every month. For the next few months. So that's Allentown, Pennsylvania. DQW Pro Wrestling is the first Friday of every month in Wharton, New Jersey. I'll be in Kentucky this weekend. I'm wrestling for OVW on Friday, and then Saturday I'm in Chesapeake, Ohio for Big Time Pro Wrestling. Um, and then I think that's it for upcoming shows. I have a few things in the works I can't really talk about, but that's what will be the next weekend.
That's awesome. I just heard you, and I did read one of your Facebook status a little bit an hour ago. You pointed out you're gonna be in Kentucky, and now all of a sudden I'm now hearing you're gonna be at OVW.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in Louisville, ain't it?
Yes.
Oh, that's a bummer because I live in Frankfurt, and
Oh.
that's about an hour plus away, and I'll be
Yeah.
I'll be off of work a little bit after 4:30, and considering the job that I have, I'll be very exhausted by then. So I guess I won't be able to make the trip, but you know, uh,
That's okay.
but hopefully the next time you come to Kentucky and I'm not exhausted, I'll definitely like to see you compete in person. So you all go and check out Deonna and her up and coming events. Um, Go ahead and promote your social media links as well for people that wants to follow your journey and things of that nature. Go ahead and promote your links.
You can follow me on Twitter at _ Deonna Purrazzo. That's really where I get to interact with everyone. I'm on that the most. The same username is for my Instagram at Deonna, at _ Deonna Purrazzo. And then on Facebook, it's just Deonna Purrazzo Wrestler. So I encourage everyone to add me on there. I do have a personal one, but I tend not to add fans to that one. So Deonna Purrazzo Wrestler is where to get all my wrestling updates, pictures of training, what we're doing, wherever I am, pictures from shows, the works. So that's where I encourage everyone to go if you wanted to interact with me.
Well, Deonna, it was great chatting with you. I want to thank you for being on the show this evening. Truly appreciate it. And continued success in your career moving forward. And I think that One Night Only event should be available on DVD by now, if not already. You can go to Impact Wrestling's website to check that out and purchase the DVD to check her out, going up against some of the biggest names from Impact Wrestling into the indie scene. So and check her out on the upcoming shows. Again, thank you for being on the show and continued success.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You have a good night.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. That was my guest this evening, Deonna.